Hey, so you should be able to hear me, but I still got to figure out how. I have to figure this out. Transform. Hey, there we go. Haha. Cheating it. Cheating it. Look how it fuzzes the hair. All right. So hopefully that'll be. Let's see. But anyhow, hey. Okay. That's fine. Oh, all right. It's gonna keep flashing because somehow it just all the feeds. It doesn't like my video in OBS. Like it looks completely fine. Oh no, it is bouncing a little bit. It is some of the native thing. Hey, everybody, I'm back. Yes. Cool. Now, hopefully that'll be a little cleaner. I'll run a little faster. All right, continuing. As I say, catching up, seeing how things are going. So, I was talking randomness, trying to get the stream going and tweeting out to see if I get some people on it. Looks like I got a Kuro Desu on there. I got a Happy Dude on there as well. Cup check. So it's good to see you guys. As I said, this is not like an official Show X anything. This is just Wayne hasn't been on the air for a long time and was sitting here bored this week and wanted to get back on and talk to people, share some things, answer questions, do whatever I could. Um, oh, you piece of junk. Look at that. It locked up again. This one's coming off. Oh, you're making me so mad. Camera. It just wants to stay pissed off, basically. I don't know why. Um, so annoying. I don't know what I'm doing to it that it's like, no, we don't want to use this capture card. Go back to your regular video camera and deal with that. That's off. Oh, back. Yay, back. So dumb. Why does it keep doing this? I'm gonna have to get a new capture card or something. It really doesn't like this or wired in somewhere. It's been a while. Go figure. I used to have to deal with it every day. Now it's nothing. So what's been going on? Let's see. Before it freaks out again, I'm sure this is just USB 3 freaking out and going too many things through a mixer board and not having a long enough extension cable to just plug it directly into the computer or something. Probably a USB issue. That happens a lot. So, um, it has been a minute. I have, like I said, recovered my Sundays and kind of been just kind of chilling with people and hanging and playing video games, stuff like that. Normal things, living life, good, bad, and ugly. I wish I could say there's some great massive progression in the world that is Wayne, but that is not the case. I'm basically just doing my thing, continuing as I always have. It's so much to say that like I still am playing the same games I've been playing while ticking in a few newer ones here and there. I still play League of Legends, ARAMs, most more than probably everything else combined. I just last night, in fact, last night I think finished Stray, which isn't to say much. It's a short game. I played it a bunch going forward with other things, and then I just turned it out where I was like, hey, I need to play something different. My brain's mush. Let me do this. Jumped into it, and it was like the last bit. I seriously thought there was going to be more to it, and then I was like, oh, you finished. Like, if I had just kept playing for another 10 minutes, I would have been done with the game last time I was playing it, but I hadn't. Um, what else? Been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown with the old school VTW folks that come and play local Game Fest. That is a good game. I am not good at it, but it is a fun FPS PvE game. You know, one, two, or three people per team. A lot of fun. Enjoy that. Um, else some things. Just in recent terms and things, I just got back. Yeah, right. Give me some USB 4. The specs are out, be it version what, USB 4 revision 2 or all the nonsense going on with any of that. Wow. That just all kinds of piss. Keep trying to sweet out, make me happy. So funny because obviously the video is still working. It's just bad. Like it just something in it hiccups for a moment and then comes back. Um, and then it's happy again. I don't know what it. So dumb. I don't want to revert to my webcam, and I say this mostly because I have a thing planned with it here in a second, which I hope to do. But oh well, we'll see. I'm gonna keep getting funky video as I do this. Keep trying to keep me on. When I switch over to it, it'll make sense. Like I said, Hunt Showdown's good. Playing with Earth and Bab's not nearly enough on some more Beyond All Reason Bar, which is still a great um RTS game. So gaming life's kind of the same. Geek life continues. I have yet to keep up with all of the good geekiness that everyone else has, and that I've got myself stuck on the One Piece train, anime wise. So my nightly what I watch to try to go to bed has been One Piece since about November of last year, and I'm feeling okay about myself because I've gotten up to episode I think 420 or so in it now. Um, spoilers or not, it's in the oh, names are so bad for me, but the major prison where Luffy is trying to get down to the bottom level of it, rescue someone. And so that has taken up me watching most other things. I think I've snuck in there just because last weekend I was out in Atlanta at Dragon Con. And so, in order to be prepped to see some of the costumes, things out there, I snuck in binging Spy Family, that anime, as well as I went and binged the latest season of Boys, since I was like, man, I need to catch up on that, so I understand the references there, which was good for me to do. And still, there's too many I'm behind. I haven't even tried watching like the new Lord of the Rings spinoff on Amazon yet. I still haven't finished things like uh was it Love and Robots, the last season that came out. That's still on my to-dos. I've got a bunch of things that I've been behind on. But on the nice thing, on a note, leading up to DragonCon, hopefully some people, anyone who's following, saw some of the pictures I posted on Predictably Ham on my Facebook profile for my cosplay page. Um, that I worked on, surprising for me, like 4 new costumes in under 2 months for the convention. I was able to pull off. None of them were too complex or insane or like having to sew specific patterns. Most of it was just modifying existing clothing, which for me is a lot easier way to cosplay. But I was able to manage doing a custom, like a modification of things and adding a bunch of details to do a Honeybee Dancer cosplay from Final Fantasy VII Remix, both for myself as a male dancer, as well as for my friend Anna for a female one, so that we could both go to the Bunny Hutch dance on Thursday night at Dragon Con. That worked out fairly well. Modified her slightly to do a bunny tail instead of a bee tail, but felt pretty good about what I worked out with all of that. Um, I also managed to do a Tio Felix cosplay from Encanto that I felt pretty good about. Mostly had to source and find the right base components before basically having to modify and sew on kind of the ribbons onto the shirt as well as the collar, getting hand I say using machine to embroider freehand the little triangles and designs on the collar of the shirt from that movie. That one worked out pretty well. And then I also did what other ones I do? I did Admiral or Vice Admiral, I think officially, but Admiral Kuzan, Aokiji or Kuzan Aokiji from One Piece, one of the main admirals in that one. Did it without the cape though, so I didn't have to do the full like massive white cape on it. I basically just found some base pieces, cut sleeves off of white shirt to make an overshirt and shirt underneath it. Find a yellow tie, add a little bit of vinyl on it to get the right design. Um, Dye the whole white like pants and suit a light teal kind of color to match his bluish tone he has in the anime, such like that. But I felt like I did a pretty decent job with that. I wish I could share more of the pictures of it, but I didn't capture it. I mean, you have to check out the page. I didn't have a good means set up previous to this to put pictures out there. What else did I get done? Let's see. So One Piece, Final Fantasy Remix, and both hers and mine, and Felix. Yeah, so those are the cosplays I made all within about 2 months' time. Again, basically modification, so nothing like major no armor pieces or props or anything like that. So it wasn't too crazy, but felt pretty good that I actually did that many as quickly as I did. A little bit of validation that I can still sew, can still craft, can still create if I put my mind to it. So that was pretty neat. What are some of the other things? So I could go on and on about Dragon Con. It's better if I had the photos to share. But the other costumes I took besides the ones I just mentioned were my Barrett Wallace from Final Fantasy VII Remake that I've worn a few times now, my Cabal from Mortal Kombat movie in 2020 or so that I had previously made. And I brought back out my Shepherd book, although I didn't like go hard on him in that I didn't get the white hairspray to fully do. I just had some gray that I normally do for the whiskers and beard to add to that I at least put a little bit of prominence on, as well as I wasn't in the. I didn't set up my cosplays this Dragon Con to match facial hair throughout. Normally it's a depleting facial hair thing. I did it to match um, group photo shoots that we were participants in. And so in doing that, I had to kind of like bounce between hair and mitigate it in a way to kind of get it between a little bit like too much hair, enough hair, so much that it's not the character. We kind of bounced back and forth between it. And the other piece with that is Dragon Con had a mask policy throughout that was loose. I wish I could say that, I followed it and it was all good because of that, but that's not the case. And the challenge that came from that is that I absolutely suffered for it. And that part of the reason I'm on here doing this as I am is that I screwed up and got the vid. So I unfortunately did contract COVID um after Dragon Con. And it was sucked because I had gone back to work the day after I got back and then felt fine. But then that evening went to go train my martial arts up in Longmont with my buddy. I did preemptively just because I felt like the possibility was there, even though I felt fine. Is I wore a mask all day at work, and when I went out and trained that night, as a means to just minimize risk for others, since I felt fine. But that evening, towards the end of training and then coming back, I started getting a cough in my throat and was kind of like, man, this sucks. Maybe I did get con crud. Got home, I started feeling a little worse. So the next day, I took an assessment, decided to skip work just to make sure, be careful. And then tested that evening and with the last home kit I had. And sure enough, came back positive and was like, awesome. So notified everybody I've been hanging with. Thankfully, no one else close contact with me seems to have contracted it, so they all succeeded. Good for them. But sucked. And thankfully, being boosted, vaccinated, all that, it's hit me. It didn't hit me insane, but it is hit, and it sucks. So I've been just laid up in the house, and coming back from con, I wasn't prepped to be stuck in the house, so no groceries, any of that. So I've been like rifling through the freezer and dry goods that I had to see what I had. Thankfully, well, two things. It sucks mostly because it meant it screwed up all my weekend plans. I had a birthday party I was supposed to go to a friend's, hanging out, training, doing other things this weekend. That I was just like, nope, I'm stuck at home, guys. And as much as it means I was able to knock out like another 20 episodes of One Piece almost, or like almost, um, there's only so much I can do with the one thing before I need a bit of variety. And feeling just under the weather, I didn't feel like getting out of the house to work in my yard or do any of that. It took me a few extra days before I finally unpacked from Dragon Con and such to get things out. Um, and so just feeling under the weather with that sucked. Other piece is my folks are in town as they are. No, it was mentioned before we went off air and stuff. My parents have become nomads now. They got rid of the family home, everything like that, and they travel now in their RV as their whims and what they need repaired dictates, and able to go see all of us kids, their grandkids and stuff on a kind of rotation. And prior to DragonCon, they had just mentioned it like a couple weeks prior, saying, "Hey, by the way, we're going to be in your area. Um, are you available, baby?" And I was like, "Really? Unfortunately, no. I am going to be out and about because I have. It's funny how the Zoom keeps changing how much it's zoomed in. I don't know what's doing that, but and so they asked what I was doing over Labor Day, and I was like, I'm going to be in Atlanta. I'm going to Dragon Con. And so they're like, oh, shoot, okay. But they were able to manage to then extend an extra week here in town where they're staying, say, like, hey, we'll come see you afterwards. Only for me to come back and have COVID and say, sorry, fam, parents, I guess I'm not going to be able to hang with you this trip out. Thankfully, I have aunts and uncles, other people in town, so they've been managing. It just felt a piece on my part of like messing things up, missing things out because because I contracted. It's admittedly, I understand there's a lot of things about fault or not, but there's about a headspace thing that hits when it's kind of like I got sick and therefore it challenges or it interrupts all these other plans that I'd had and feels a bit like my own fault that I should have been more protected, done better, done something to avoid it. That kind of grr to me feels a little sucky. Not like it. Um, oh well, that's life. Uh, as well as just I don't know after con funk and other things that happen and realizations, having long heart to heart conversations with people at con. Um, it's an odd thing to go for me to a bigger convention where I don't have a full squad set up, where I'm still learning how to do some things on my own to just go enjoy. Uh, Life challenge on Wayne's part. I'm very much in my extrovert side. The I need to associate, host, or be involved with other people to share memories and experiences. But so going to Dragon, even though I went with Hannah, um, we only had the one or two costumes kind of associated. And partway through the con, she was like, "Fail! I'm gonna go interact with other people and meet people and do things." So I was left to my own devices, which is fine. Just there were other people who normally I'd associate with who also could not come to convention Dragon. So like, where's my people at? And I made the mistake that one of my longtime goers there I didn't realize was there. My mistake. I'd associated with other people that weren't going. So I didn't find her until like one of the last days. And then, um, and so just it was a good con as a whole. Experienced a lot of things, but also at times felt very like lost in like what am I doing? Part of it hitting the One Piece shoot, man, did I feel some imposter syndrome there at a minute. Because as much as I'm a third of the way through the anime, it seemed like most people there were very up to date and aware. And therefore, I didn't know some of the characters that people were cosplaying and some of the little things that were bringing up and talking about that I was like, I'm here. But I did have at least good reactions to my costume where people were like, oh, and they knew who I was right away. So that felt good. Um, and as a whole, Dragon Con can be overwhelming, uh, both good and crazy ways. But there were some times when I was navigating it, feeling like very much like, what am I doing wandering around by myself here? And I think part of my challenge is I do not do well meeting new people. As much as people see me often as a big extrovert, that is primarily within my own groups. And so it's with people I've already vetted. And so I have a big challenge of reaching out and introducing to new people. Like I don't have the energy for it. And it's not my default. And so when I'm with people who do that, I shy off or I'm on the edge of the group and I kind of see until unless somebody in that new interaction like really jives with me, I'm just like I have more than enough people and relationships I need to maintain and I do a bad enough job at that to be openly actively trying to seek out new. And it sucks because I want to engage in the relationships I have with people. And when I don't have those people, then I'm left to that whole either I meet someone new or I don't know. I do not find myself like easily able to jump into new groups and chat with people and such. So as much as there were 60,000 people at Dragon Con, I felt very much by myself a portion of it. But that's no one else's fault but my own. And so something I just have to understand. But left me, admittedly, in some weird headspaces at different points wandering about. Uh, so anyhow, yeah. Nice thing about that though is I led up to Dragon was doing all the costume stuff. It got me into thoughts of general cons in general, or in as a greater thing, and that I do enjoy them when I focus the right way. So I have plans now to go and or wait, in December down to Florida for my first time to Holiday Matsuri, which is an anime, I believe, most themed convention designed around the holidays. It's one that I had originally heard about from friends who used to go, and same similar kind of thing happening where they once I announced like, hey, they announced the rooms and stuff like that, and I happened to be aware as it happened, so I secured one. I was like, a room, ding, done, cool. Yes, I'm going there now. Find out that the group that would normally go and see there aren't going, and so it's like, well, I'm gonna go adventure to a completely new convention. Thankfully, not fully by myself. I think Lieutenant Fork is going to tag along, wants to see it as well. So we'll see what we can plan. But a convention I've never been to, but it'll be in Florida during as things start to cool off here, so that might be nice. But I have to now try to come up with a couple costumes of characters that are water worthy. It is a big like resort ish setup hotel with pools, slides, and stuff around it. So something that would be water safe and people still get, which I don't think any of my current cosplays match. So I'll have to come up with something new. Um, that should be fun. That'll be more cosplay stuff. Let me catch people up on 3D printing, and there I now have 7 3D printers because I have a problem. I still don't do anything with it to like monetize and help pay it back really, other than my friend at Xenocat Artifacts and the prints I do for her. Although I may work out some more deals with her. I need to talk to her, see about sponsoring me getting a large format resin printer, which could be fun. But I've been happy with some of the things I was able to apply with it. Um, hey, Kuro, that's good to hear. I'm curious what you've been printing. I've been prop work stuff. I actually did last minute because one of the cool things at Dragon Con, they have a group called Swag and Seek, which is a gifting group throughout Dragon Con, where what they do is they basically give oh wow, it came back that time. That's a first. I have to do them both. Where they create whatever it is they create. Everybody has their own things they're able to work on, and they share them freely around the convention. What they do is they actually hide things around the convention for people to find and take home for free. And it's the variety from people doing like just stickers that are unique or things they've had around the house or little nerdery type things to stuff they've had knit to laser cut things or I mean, you name it, craftable type things people together. Some things that you can purchase, like people buying and creating their own specific little like geek kind of things, but they hide it throughout. I have a whole little bag I got from people who were shared. I did not find any. It seemed like that many people, things were found moments after they were hidden. But one of the things that someone on the group had suggested that it ties to 3D printing. Oh, that is so bad to hear, Kuro. I hope you can get a replacement for the screen. That sucks. But someone in the thing was like, "Hey, saw these on um, printables or things or one of I think printables was on these snap kits. If someone with a 3D printer were to make some of these, these would be really cool things to hide." So I was able to, as I was trying to do it on my belt printer, and that did not work because they're so thin they pulled and rolled around the corner of the belt printer, so totally failed. But went back and did them on my Prusa, and they came out fine. I just had to keep changing them every 3-4 hours when they were done, and so I only was able to print, I think, dozen or like 20 of them overall. Batches of 4 on a plate that I was able to do, so like 5 batches in time. But these are little snap kits that let's bring it back here. That basically are like little models that are just printed out flat, and when you snap them apart, you can create things. This one being specifically a Tauntaun from Star Wars. The example though that I actually put together is this little X-wing, just so I could see what it's like to have one put together and how well it worked. It's got a little holder on the top to be an ornament touch on it, but it actually came together real well. So I hit a bunch of those. Hopefully people enjoy them. I also resin printed a bunch of rings and then painted them real quick, either gold or silver. I apologize for anybody who might have got hold of those because the gold ones, that finish didn't stick. And it started coming off on my fingers and stuff. So gold one stayed a little tacky. The silver did pretty well though. That silver paint held. So but I was able to give those out at times when people would like offer me something like, would you like to pick a ring? Some treasure. So that was kind of fun. I'm hoping, because I'm pretty dedicated, I'll go to Dragon Con again next year. Although I'm at this point, I doubt anybody will go with me. Probably for the best. Um, but I hope to like plan ahead to getting a whole thing of swag that I can gift throughout the whole convention, have it a little more themed. Because the first time I'd done it, I'd done some things around my costumes, but they were like, meh, okay, not really cool. And I came back with way too many of them that I had 3D printed. So I'd like to do something a little more cool in the future. I have to come up with some plans, but I like the little puzzle kits, little things that people can put together. And these, it actually turned out really cool. So I might play with those. Nice, Kuro. Got an airbrush. I swear, I always think in my head that I have one in my possession. I had bought an airbrush that was really nice some 30 years ago, I think. This is how bad it is, back when I was still living with my folks. I was trying to work on stuff, and I just never had a small compressor to hook it up. And I thought at some point I had acquired it from my parents. I found it, and it's in my basement somewhere, but I couldn't tell you where. And it's one of those things that nags at me. I have to like go through all my boxes because I had gotten this nice kit, and I've always wanted to learn how to airbrush. And yeah, that was the thing. Oh, I should pull real quick since I don't have a pause button. My camera will probably die before I get back. But just to speak, yep, they died. Okay, so while it's dead, or let me do it real quick, see if I can bring it back again real quick on its own. But I was going to run. Yeah, I'm gonna run and grab some of the stuff I just printed, the prop stuff. So I'll be right back. Entertain yourselves. Eventually, I didn't break. Oh, that died again. Wonder. Actually, you know what? I probably broke this. I think I just pulled the cord on it. Nope, it's still there. Okay. Double check what I just. Yeah. Oh, still plugged in. All right, still plugged in. We're good. So, looks like as soon as I go off camera, I stop moving it. I wonder if that's part of like there's an algorithm thing that as soon as I'm like off camera long enough or stop moving long enough, it freezes. That might be interesting. Anyway, so I want to show 3D print stuff real quick. For a while back when I'd done Cabal, one of the things I had done is I created these hook swords, which I probably don't need now because I'm just talking to you guys and no one's talking to me. But off my belt printer, I was able to print in two pieces these 33-inch hook swords for Cabal. I think is pretty cool. So that's one of the main things that I was super excited about printing, cosplaying, doing with that I really like. Fun to showcase a little more. Not my model, but a print that I really enjoy is my Barrett. And the gun that I did for Barrett, one of the things that I really liked about it, excuse me, that I wanted to showcase, I guess I can do it through here. Let's see. So that's battery, right? Bam. So, all of this is 3D printed, multiple pieces put together. But one of the key components that I messed with to kind of see what I could start doing, and I'm not good at this, and I really need to get better, but I wanted the materia to be something real. Because the model had it kind of just printed in, so I had to drill it out. I needed to clean this up a lot. I wanted to do it before Dragon, but I was making the other costumes. And, oh no, this broke. Ah, okay. Well, the nice thing is it's 3D printed. I can glue that back together. This little part here broke, apparently. And traveling with this was a bear. But I put it all together. I made it so that I can rotate this, but I need to figure out a way to put a motor in it to have it comfortably do it so I can pull a trigger and have it do it. I have thoughts. Have yet to engineer how to do that yet. But the other thing is this the sphere in there that's colored, that's glowing and changing colors, is also 3D printed, and that's resin. So that came off my resin printer with a clear resin. And I just did an orb off that. It worked great. I put an LED strip below it, a couple pieces I cut small, and then I hollowed out, because this is after the fact, I hollowed out the magazine compartment there, have a little door for it. I need to do better. Put a battery bank in it that plugs into a little Bluetooth controller for the LEDs. And thus I'm able to connect with my phone, and I'm able to change the colors on my own, or I set it for a slow rate color diffuse change so that I can change what type of materia I have in the gun whenever I choose, which is fun. That's a little piece. And now I have a blueprint for how I could add materia to any Final Fantasy weapon and get it colored and do stuff. And I have some thoughts on what I might do with that in the future. But that was a real fun one. And it came out, I'm pretty happy with it, how it came out. I had to stretch the model a bit to get it to proportionally look about right on my arm, because this model was not designed with the idea of you putting a hand in it. And most people I saw a couple other Barretts at the convention, and when we were taking our photos, and they had to like go as far as this high into the barrels with their hand to get it to go far enough on their arm. So I stretched it a bit, but then thinned it up to keep it in proportion. So a bit of editing on my part, but I'm really happy with how it came out as a whole. I'd originally done this for, there was a Final Fantasy symphony that had happened a while back that I had gone to with my friend Hannah. The time I've invested in places that have no output. My mistakes. But in doing so, it prompted me to put together some stuff I otherwise probably never would have, as well as in general my Barrett that I'm pretty happy with. So I'm now thinking of ways I could help design the models or adjust the models up front, knowing what I learned afterwards, that I could probably preset all these areas in it for the wiring. But that's future me problems. Things that I hope to work with in another time. Let's see. So yeah, I wanted to share those. Those are pretty cool. So that's been going on with that. What else is going on in life? For the Kuros out there, a direct invite since you're on here. The next Game Fest is October 21st weekend. If you, by all means, want to come up and play. I do believe my good friend Ken is going to come out to that as well. And I'm trying to think who else. We have, I think, Paz is flying back in. We have like at least one or two other people flying in from out of state for this next Game Fest, which should be a good time. So I invite you along as well. I haven't seen you. What other stuff is going on? Oh, see? That's great to hear. There you go. Glad to hear it. I'll have to make sure to get things all set up for people. What else did I want to comment? I did some brief geekery and such where I tried and succeeded at first, but keeping it alive has been a challenge to work through how to do backups and things with a Nintendo Switch. As much as I'm a Nintendo non-fanboy, a friend of mine was trying to replace her Switch and therefore gave me a great deal on the original. And it being an original model, I was able to do some of the things on it to allow me to unlock it and run home like that on it. Challenge being, you ever let it power off completely, coming back on, you have to reset everything again, and that process became more of a challenge. So a little annoyed by that. But on another note, I don't know how long I'm going to cast here until I'm bored here, or until my COVID brain starts to muddle up too much and I can't think. Because I literally decided to do this maybe an hour before I turned on and checking with Ken. I was going to open up some of the other accounts and stuff, but we've lost access to a few things and being dormant for a while. My fault. Oops. But on a line that's different from the than the Switch, but on a similar kind of line, one of the things I did get hold of finally was my Steam Deck. Oh, look at you bouncing over. Be bigger for it. Change that over here. It adjusted as I had done things, but as I roll over here, probably don't need to show you like. There we go. All right. This is why I didn't want to have the other camera on, so I could share this if people are all interested. You will see what you think. And if not, that's all right. I moved the whole gantry here. But I got my Steam Deck in, guys. One of those things that I'd pre-ordered long after a lot of other people had. But when I finally did, I had to decide, like, do I really need to spend this money or not? Like, this is silly on my part. Do I need to spend the money, or is it fine if I just keep using or don't have a mobile gaming station? Like, anyhow, I got the big one, the one that has the 512 gigs of internal storage, and has the less glare screen. I think that's really the only main differences between this and the lower ones. There's some videos I've watched of people who know better than I about the benefits, if you will, of what you can get for you can how you can set up the cheaper ones. You get the $400 one and just change out and put in a bigger memory stick basically, and do it for like $80 and have essentially the same storage as this full-on Steam Deck. And so, not sure if this is something that's interesting to you guys or not, but I thought it was pretty cool. My first run of this was taking it on plane with me. Battery life is low because you're in standby the whole time. As you can see, I took it on the plane, worked really well, played Evoland with me, which is a great handheld. Wasn't sure how well this would come out. The glare might be a bit much to actually see on stream. A little bit of angle. But what I will do, just in general, I was going to give a little, like, what I think about it. So far, I will tell you, I'm a big fan. I don't do a lot of mobile handheld gaming, and so this was one I'm trying to actually, like, spend some time on and focus on. See how it runs. I did put some emulators on it, although I've struggled to get them running right. And so I haven't really played through them. I've gotten the load, but not actually play. I've also gotten, other than the Steam stuff, I was able to add the emulation. The Heroic Game Launcher, which allows you to access libraries outside of Steam. And so with that, I can get into GOG, Good Old Gaming, their Galaxy Launcher, as well as Epic Store. So I was able to install a game from Epic on that, which works. Every once in a while, it jacks up, though. I will admit, it that one can crash on me a bit. Only a 720 screen, but it's really slick. Like, it fits in the hand well. I underclocked it down to like 40 frames per second. A lot of people suggest to get the battery life to really continue. Nice. Coming back in, like with Evoland being a great game that it's just here, I can come in and speakers down. I was on light, but dying here, but it jumps right in, right? And I'm playing like that quick. So even though it's a PC, a Linux-based PC, the OS is set up in such a way, excuse me, that I feel like it runs very much like you would consider a handheld to run. If I was smart, what I would do is switch the HDMI input for this, or output from this game, into my capture card. You'd be able to see it direct. But you know what these games play like. Mostly just showing that, this is running a solid 40. It reads everything through beautifully, game, and I can just jump in and out whenever I want, which is kind of nice. Hey, did. It's funny, Evoland, if you haven't played, it's a wonderful, wonderful game of progression from the beginning of all time of gaming through modern JRPGs and such. For those who don't know, but like it looks great, sounds great. The speakers on it are really good. It's a little big, a little hefty, but the grip is really comfortable. The back buttons on it, I haven't had a use for yet, but work fine. Shoulder buttons feel really good, analog on those, which is great. The dual things, the touchscreen or the touch pads have a great haptic feel to them. Other thing, think what other stuff. I've been impressed with the games I am able to play on it. In fact, I will bounce back at. I'm still playing there if I want, but if I go like Shadow, sure, play that instead. That's currently running. Oh, guess I should actually pull out of the first. That makes sense. Exit that one first. Yes, it wanted to let me play both. That would be bad. It shows the default, like what ways you're playing stuff. I also got a chance at Con really quick to mess with. Yeah, no, Kerr, I understand the whole point. Like, I'm at home enough that I don't often see it, but I used it some when I was crafting in the basement, taking a break. I could pick it up and just play instead of having to come upstairs and jump on my computer. Like I said, I'm making a point of where can I bring this and use this. Conventions, it makes sense. Things like that. And in a similar way to me not owning like an Apple Watch or something like that, there's a lot of places in my everyday life that it doesn't make sense for me to have like wearable devices and stuff like that because I can't bring them to work. But this is one I was just like, it's partially being on that forefront of messing with new tech and things like that. And it's still PC gaming, so it's a way for me to go into things that I otherwise wouldn't play. Nice thing about it, I'm using it as a means to play games that I don't see myself sitting down on my computer to play. Because like Shadows of Mordor, I've had it for a minute now, and I just never felt compelled to sit down on the computer to play it. But on here, controller, I I did jump right in and started playing and was like, I could concentrate on it. It's my focus. And I really like that. Okay, camera stuck again, but I'm not gonna mess with it yet. Um and because it was my focus, it's like I've been able to actually get into the game more in a way that I don't know if I ever would on my PC. Um Same thing with some of these just little games like Sonic Generations and stuff. I wasn't playing Sonic a whole lot on my PC on the full screen, but playing it on the handheld, it just seems to fit. And it's like, yep, this is a good place for it. Um, I can I can see myself going through games that I just otherwise would probably ignore on the PC. Tales of Zestiria, I jumped back on for a little bit. Like games that just feel like they fit better on the handheld than me sitting on my PC. Where on my PC, I'm more likely to do other things. Oh, I'll need to actually pay attention here in a second. As I play here, I was like, I almost have to actually like pay attention. Oh, he's gone. But like I said, it plays just how you'd expect it to. Oh, but get better at the execution moves. I should. There you go. There's an execution. Very key to this game because the longer it takes you to kill, the longer it takes for like more and more things come at you. But it looks great, runs great, do all the menu stuff and things in it and stuff. So it's just, again, for me, I'm looking at it as a means to play games that otherwise I probably would not have put the time in on my desktop. And that's where I think it makes sense for me, Steam Deck. Um, like before I go to bed, playing a game and something instead of watching an anime or such, or taking it with me whenever I know I'm going to be waiting for a minute, pulling it up since I don't have any games on my mobile device on my phone other than like Scrabble. I just like I can't seem to get into games on here. And so I'm trying to put a little bit of focus on it and see if I actually like it or not. See if I spend the time on it. I think having it as an emulation station will help keep my interest as well, which is a big part. And traveling to Dragon Con, because it is basically a full PC, and I could use touchscreen keyboard, stuff like that. And I have a dock for it, one of the USB-C docks. So I can plug into Ethernet, I can plug in SD cards to it. I was able to actually plug in a couple extra external controllers. Still need to work with it to see how I can get it to like flow well. But it could be my laptop on the go per se. That instead of me trying to pack away my laptop, I could just bring the Steam Deck, and if there's things I need to do that are kind of computer related, I can do them on it. So I'm trying to come up and figure out the like where its use case is in my life because I'm not a big mobile gamer. That's why I haven't had a Switch yet. Um, okay, so that's cool that yeah, Tom has his. I need to talk to him more because I need to get the emulation set up properly. The little bit I played, I was like, cool, it's there, it works. But I was doing it all last minute while cosplay creation, doing stuff to get it all finished before the convention. So I missed out on some of those things. So I didn't quite get it all together. So yeah, throw that out there. Um, yeah. So I wanted to share the Steam Deck. Any questions people have about it as a whole? So I haven't put nearly enough time onto it, but I of course grabbed like a 1 terabyte SSD for it, or not SSD, but a SD card. Throw into it. Price prohibitive. What was available. I can't really tell the difference between games launching off it versus the internal drive. Kind of nice. Um, it's interesting going to desktop mode on it. Navigating through that can be a little wonky with the controls. I kind of wish I had the keyboard mouse in that case to do some of the finer control moving files and doing the little things you need to do to enable some of the additional software to run. So there's a few things in there that I still need to work with. So I'm still learning on it, and I've been learning on the side while doing additional things. But that's been fun endeavor as well. Yeah. Let's see what else is new and hot in the news. Gaming related and such that people have been kind of keeping up with. I still try to keep up with to a degree. I still watch a lot of like Linus's channels and stuff on Linus Media Group. I did pre-order like each of his swag. I got some of his Cody's and stuff, and I've ordered one of his backpacks, and I ordered his screwdriver and stuff. I as much as he can be a I don't know diva in a way. He is high up on what he does. I think the product is like what he stands by, but quality and product and stuff. I think he is pretty legit on. Like I give credit for what I have seen him do. That he hasn't produced anything that I would feel is going to be a garbage product, and so I don't feel bad about investing in the things if it's stuff I kind of want. I hope in a way that I'll get the backpack before Holiday Matsuri, because unfortunately the cheapest flight to go down to Florida is Frontier, and they are a garbage airline. And my normal flights with Southwest, man, they're like $200 more for a round trip ticket. And and as much as that allows for like the 2 bags, which I love to take, I feel like with proper planning, Fork and I will be able to get all of our stuff into a single check-on suitcase that'll cost us an extra $50 each way, so an extra $100. But that'll still save us about $300 or $400 each on the trip. So, or total $300 or $400. So it's like But if I had that new backpack, then I could bring that as my personal item to fit under the seat, hopefully, and hopefully pack enough. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll be whatever batch I'm in will be in stock by then. Oh, other things and such. I flirted around for a little bit with getting back into photography, played with that for a minute. Don't know if I'll go any further on that. I had some serious like life hiccups in the interim from show to now where uh challenges in trying to have a relationship that did not work out. Person was not the right person, did not know that at the time. Uh Leaving me in a state of like, yep, I don't know how that's gonna work out for me. Pretty sure I'm done. Too old to be dating. I don't know what's going on with that. I need to find all of my hobby endeavors and try to get some stuff done. That's what I need to focus on. The gaming and such. Although there's a realization that's coming in with the gaming piece. I had this yesterday a bit. I'm not getting better at games. I've hit a peak. I am past whatever ability I have to be really good at games, especially anything that has any requirement of Twitch in it. I don't think I'm ever going to be at that peak point past people again. I mean, I haven't been for a minute, but ARAMs I can kind of get away with. But when I start playing, like even in Hunt now, slower paced game, but when the people who can Twitch and shoot, I'm just like, why am I missing folks? This sucks. I look at some of the new games coming out, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can keep up with the kids anymore. It's that chuckle about needing a separate mode in some games. It's like, hey, I'm over 40. Can I get a break? Can I match with other people in my demographic? um, so there's a challenge there, and I'm trying to think if like because I do enjoy FPSs, always have, but I wonder if my ability to be good at them past. If I need to find a place where I can try to focus more on strategy or something where experience might make a difference. I don't know. Sucks. And it's funny because I know that most of my audience here, people that would jump in, are not the whippersnappers anymore. None of us are youngins. Kuro's still pretty young. Like, whoa. Nice to hear. Good job, Kuro. There are still some games that I feel comfortable with. I can just jump in and I do well. There are some, and it still gets that little smile on the face like it's possible. But it just seems like keeping up with the new stuff and the things that people are popular, like really into these days that I don't know if I'm relevant anymore. Um, that maybe that's fine, right? Maybe that's a thing where I stick to the games I've enjoyed. I have this huge list of games on Steam that I can spend some time in, and quite a few of them are not multiplayer. So I've been looking at some things like I loaded up for the first time in I don't know how long, probably since I bought it, Kerbal Space Program yesterday, and it's hey, I got the first mission done, launched a rocket, nobody died. Don't have a clue how to progress to the next stages of it. Um, but that's something that maybe I can take some time and focus on. That'd be all right. Um, Star Citizen still playing some of that. Had an event yesterday with the Blues where we did a Argo cargo race around Lorville. That they had found a place to fly us through some of the terrain on the main planet, and that was a mess. But it's always a because the Argo cargos are not nimble things to fly. So that was a mess. Ando, what's up there, man? Um, but that was a good time, and that's something that's I don't know more my speed. Campo destroyed everyone. He knew how to fly those. I did not. Maybe that's something example I need to actually pick up my joystick and learn how to use it in Star Citizen mouse. Um, I don't know. I keep looking at my desk space and all the stuff lingering around and all my memories and things, and I keep trying to think if I should slim down and try to get myself around just the gear. Looking into people who are serious about Star Citizen. I'm trying to wait until it gets somewhere past alpha before I get serious. But they're buying like $2,000 joystick setups to play the game, let alone everything else they put around it. Oh, I guess that's another thing. Is so earlier this year, right? This year, yeah. So I have upgraded my system. I was running off a all the way through the end of the show. I was running off my old i7 6850 6000 series Intel chip, running 64 gigs of memory on it, DDR4 and such. And I had prior to ending had upgraded to my 3090, being ridiculous that I'm running. But in the time from there, uh our boy El Campo, he got it in his head that he wanted an upgrade. He was running a 5000 series Intel chip and I think an i5, and he was feeling the burn. He wanted his games to perform better, so he went out and invested, found a deal on some RAM and a motherboard and such, get himself into a 12th gen Intel processor. So I helped him out building him a 12900K Intel system. In the process, however, though, he ran into a challenge where his motherboard was part of the, if you remember the Newegg fiasco of Asus motherboards, where they were carrying a bunch of it was an Asus problem, not a Newegg problem, but kind of bounced together. Where his motherboard specifically was one of the ones that had the capacitor soldered on upside down or in reverse order of the RAM and was causing fires on the motherboard. So he got it RMA'd. Challenge was in the time frame that he got the RMA, everything else that he had ordered for the build had come in, and he had no idea when he was going to get his motherboard back. So he couldn't let that be and ran to Micro Center candy store and just picked up another motherboard to replace the one that was waiting to come back. And so we built his computer. Screaming 3090, 12900K, 64 gigs of DDR5, screaming machine. Um, well, then he got his board back and he sat there on it for a while saying, "Hey, Wayne, got this perfectly good 12th gen Intel board sitting here. If you were to, want to build a computer, we could do something about that." And so he basically made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And so I then went ahead and pulled the trigger and basically built the exact same setup he and got myself a 12900K as well as 64 gigs of DDR5. Although I got it in two pieces, once when the RAM was too expensive, then once when it came back down and got a turn box one that's running fine. 6,000 mega transfer, uh, whatever hyper. Get the brand. Wait, it's right here. Trident Z RAM. Yeah, the Trident Z DDR5 memory they have that it says 6,000 mega transfer. Um, And man, is this machine, it's basically like the fastest computer you can have at the moment. Congrats, Kuro. That 3080 Ti is a beast. You'd be very happy with that. Thank goodness, right? In the time that we've been gone, that the market for chips and silicon has gone back to normal. Thank goodness that we can start looking again at what the 4000 series NVIDIA cards will be, what the new 7000 AMD processors will be, and all this, and not think that it's all going to be buy a car level expensive, get into new hardware again as a gamer. So I hope anyone who everyone else was able to like hold out. I bought my card and everything at retail. I was very fortunate that I bought things before it was overpriced. The only thing I spent too much on was the original purchase of RAM. It cost almost double what I was able to get the other 32 gigs for later. That's the one thing that bit me, but I got such a deal on the motherboard that it made up for it. So yeah. Hey, Earth, there may be an opportunity in the future of a 3090 becoming available whenever the 4090s are out. Just saying. Ugh. Yeah, I don't need to think about those things. Oh, the other thing I upgraded at some point, I think. I don't know how long it's been now, but maybe I had this before the end of the show. Because I have a 32-inch gaming monitor now as my main one. That is a 2K, so 1440p, 165 hertz monitor. I got from the candy store for at the time like 320. The heck of a deal. It's an AOC and it works and looks gorgeous. Been very happy with it. Yeah, admittedly, I probably will need a new PSU before I can even look at the 4000 series card. Probably not something I should even consider. I've got an 850 stuff I think in there that I've been running for years, as is proper with a good PSU. If a good power supply should last you many moons. So that's one that, oof. I think it's been with me. It's been with me since the first build and before that. So I've had that thing probably 6 to 8 years, and it's great. Yeah. So Kuro, I'm trying to decide between like an ultra wide, which I looked at a few, but here's the weirdest part with ultra wides with these monitors. They're all less tall than my 32 regular wide. And so it feels like even though there's more real estate width for me in my personal use case, it feels like I'm giving up desk space. I'm giving up space because it's shorter. And like I'd almost have to creep up on my monitor. Part of the reason I like my 32 inches, I can be, more than an arm's distance away where I sit normally, and it looks great. Where when I see those, I'm like, I gotta be just a little bit closer. And I don't know how that works for me. And so it's a struggle, right? And I keep seeing all the new tech. The monitor that I'm currently at like the top of my list, I can understand. I still have my old 27 inch here that I look at when I do streaming. That's a 1080p, and it's a little shorter than the 32. I am looking at, what was it? Who released it? Samsung, I think, is the company. There's a couple that finally hit my like Wayne's sweet spot for the monitor he wants. Is they've got a 32 inch. Like I'd actually love if they went to like a 34 or 36 inch for this, but a 32 inch 4K 240 hertz HDR 10 or like 1000 HDR 1000 I think, or higher. It might be 1200. 10-bit color display from Samsung that I want to say people are selling for 1200 everywhere, or 1300. It's like retail's 15. They had it at the candy store. I think they had it at 15, but they'd match. And I looked at that bad boy, and it currently is everything I want in a monitor. Takes it to 4K, same desk size, everything. It's like, because the only way I can see doing the ultra wides, and I was looking at that big Samsung, the $2,000 one, is if I got two and stacked them. Only way I can see doing like those ultra wides is if I stack two ultra wides, which is a possibility. But when I looked at that 4K, oh man, that thing's nice. Because admittedly, if I got that, I could take this monitor and put it over here on the side. And maybe I was thinking about another stand. I haven't been on a triple wide for a while. Dual seems to be fine. It's just I have this empty gap space over here that I used to hang a monitor on the old stand that I have in my basement that I could have like 3 again. I don't need that because I'm not going to game across 3. I don't need the peripherals as much. But I'm thinking I could do that 32-inch 4K eventually. I cannot afford it. It's a bad fiscal decision, but man, do I want it. Like, that would just be so nice. Ah, someone sponsor me. Or I don't know what I would do to even earn it. So the funny part is when I looked at the 38 ultra wide from Alienware or whichever ones they had at the Canon store, they still weren't as tall. Like, it was super wide, but it still lost just a little bit on the actual physical height from everything. Which I was just like, for me, it's a Wayne issue, personal issue. Oh man, I have pissed off. Stop flashing. Pissed off the board. I'm gonna touch it and mad at me. It's off. Like the signal from it, it's super flaky. I do this. Stay in there. Or I may need to get like a better capture card. I don't know what I'm. It was $20. I can't say shit. It worked for what I do here to get the GoPro on. Can't bitch too late. All right. Ah, man. So yeah, technology, thank goodness it's back. It's not insane. I think other things in life that have happened over time. Looking again at con stuff, things like that. Uh, Probably going to head up to Anime North again next year over the Memorial Day weekend, May. The amazing Copy and her husband and group are looking at setting up a trip for that again. So I'm going to try to bounce along and maybe cosplay with them. And that is one of my favorite conventions. They cosplay so well up there. That might be something I choose. How many people I try to bring up myself. We're limiting things to 4 people per room. Right now, I'd be there 4th in the room, but if I invite or bring anybody, I'll probably have to get separated out. No more stacking people to the. Not going to happen anymore. Yeah, so that's coming up. Kind of it. What's on the radar right now? Like I said, there will be a game fest, and probably, if nothing else, Campo will stream it out on the VTW Gaming channel / his eyes. For whenever we do that over the 21st, people are welcome to join us virtually, play games with us. What are some of the things you guys have been playing lately? I have been out of touch with y'all. I'm kind of curious. Yes, October 21st. And like I said, Ken's coming out to that one, confirmed. He already has tickets, got permission. He's coming. Pause is coming. Some of our other wayward folks that have left and got out to DC and stuff like that are coming. So I've got at least 3 people flying in. Woo, Kuro, jealous. 2 gigabit synchronous fiber. Who's hosting that? I'm on reduced Comcast still, but they haven't treated me terribly. Part of the problem is I have no competition here. Campo was able to get fiber at his house. I forget the provider for his. They came in because he's official Centennial, and so he's got synchronous gig and he's loving it for like jealous. Yep, I see Earth. We need to play more bar. I still have not. Everyone playing it right now. Hando's on it right now. Playing right now. Y'all seem to love that one. Highline. Haven't heard of that ISP. Hopefully they come to other places. Let's see. Hando doing Space Engineers, all the stuff he normally does. What? Oculus games? That's always good to hear every time other people doing VR. You get some more people to play some more Demio with me. I'm trying to think some. I've not spent enough time in. I need to put some more time in VR. I was tempted to this weekend, but feeling nauseous and little stuff from COVID, I was like, I don't want to risk it. I want a good VR experience. Let's see. Pistol Whip, yeah, that I played a little bit, a lot of fun. Haven't seen the Clockwinder. Valheim, that's still not one I've jumped on. I have friends who stream that constantly and play it a lot. That's one of those. I'm really curious. It's still with that trend of games that get super popular when they first get released as pre-alpha and kind of the play ahead versions. That are they going to get any love when they go full when they finally release? Kind of like what happened with Terraria, and those kind of games where it got like resurgences once they went live, but then died off quick. So I'm kind of curious what people. I do want to do some more like multiplayer VR. I got into things like got Population One, but I haven't played much of it. A couple other VR experiences I want to check out some more with people VR. And there's some other things I want to mess around with that in. I need to get back into VR. I need to do some VR chat and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's funny too because it seems like some of my people are like, hey, anybody want to play Hunt? Actually, I'm a uh, yes, actually. Maybe I'll stream maybe I'll stream that next on Doc Dead's channel. Stream some Hunt so you can see how bad I am at it. But it's a fun, different pace game. I like it a lot. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll stream that shortly here. Probably end this here in the next like 5 minutes or so to get ready for that. That could be a good way to go. Um, yeah, that's great to hear. Great to hear that Terraria still. I haven't jumped in Terraria forever. That's one of those games that I fell so far behind on the curve because, well, as Earth knows, because everyone progressed so fast that when I did play, I was always just falling behind. So I didn't know the progression. I didn't know the game myself. I don't like being dragged through games and content. I like learning it and being feeling like I understand it enough to be a participant. I hate going into any game where everyone else has done so much that all I'm there to do is like see the sights. That just is not entertaining to me. So it's part of the reason why I rarely jump onto games that have seen mass hype if I didn't get on it with the hype. And even then, I often fall off of them because people jump on the hype more and have more time available to them. And so they get so far past me, the people I was playing with, I can't hang with anymore. And so, excuse me. And so for me, that's part of my challenge in keeping up with video games as a whole. Well, I still play the ones I keep playing forever. Well, that's funny, Kuro. Ah, good to know. Well, like I said, we need to reconnect. I need to talk to you more. Um, so yeah, I look forward to it. Hopefully, I can catch up with some of you guys more. Like Hando, I'm not against jumping into War Thunder again, but it's been so long. I need to like have a refresher to myself of what I'm even doing in the game. Because I kept myself at everything, both in the ground and airbase, under 2.0 as like a benchmark, so that I could feel like I was at least participating. The game has gone so far past whatever I've touched. And there's things I'd like to see, but I don't even have a clue how I'd progress there. And I'd feel like I'd just be dead weight and instantly dead on most battles. But I know it's a great game. I know it's tons of fun. Next Friday, I better not be contagious, otherwise I'm gonna not have enough PTO to get through work. Found out on Thursday. I am in the recovery stages. I still have my cough, but other than that, I'm desperately hoping. I don't know if I'll even be able to go to work tomorrow. I need to cancel it. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow. I need to cancel. One that I've postponed 3 times already because something kept getting in the way. So, uh, I need to be well enough to get back to work because I don't have enough PTO to not go to work more. So yeah. So Ionis, the challenge was this was very much me being stir crazy at home with COVID, coming off of Dragon Con and trying to reach out. And this actually comes heavily off of a comment in talking to Copy recently about how she sometimes turns in on Sundays just to look at Twitch to see if we're here. And there have been moments where I've wanted to just kind of reach out and say, hey, but I can't be held to the schedule anymore. And I don't know what all I have to say. So it kind of depends on the moment. And I have not talked to either Todd or Ken about show stuff again. Ken was done, ready to do other things. And Todd, I think, still had a lot he wanted to say, but because his offspring was just being born at the same time, it all went to the wayside. So we never hit officially episode 500. Bit of a point, but I wanted to use this opportunity to catch up with folks on the channel to say hello. We're still alive. We're still out here. Um, who knows? Maybe with nothing else, because I know a few people missed this. I think on the Sunday after the 21st, after that weekend, that Game Fest weekend, we'll probably just have some broadcasting going over the weekend. That Sunday, I'll probably bring things back up and do a legit like who's at Game Fest show. Because man, I missed that, and a lot of people who came to Game Fest, not a lot of them scamper and run as soon as I bring up the broadcast. But I had more than a few that were like, "Man, I liked talking about everything we did on Game Fest afterwards and catching up on the show." I still have the setup with all the microphones, so while I no longer have all the great overlays and stuff set up, been a while, new computer and all this stuff, I could probably bring some of that back. Yeah. So, but no, happy to see you, Ionis. Happy to see you jump in. I feel a little bit bad that Copy hasn't jumped in. This is mostly for her, just as a throwback. So hopefully she'll have an opportunity. Probably gonna give me crap when she's like, "Wait, you went live?" Yeah, I did. Bad. So hey, but hopefully, if nothing else, this was something that was at least enjoyable for you guys. Bit of me doing a bit of catch up. Uh, oh, that's part of it, right? It is the hanging out. Something I've missed. It's something I felt surprisingly isolated over the past however long. In the shuffle of having friend groups go to the wayside and all these other things, and finding where I fit in or don't, different groups. If it wasn't for the people I interact on virtually, I would have very few people I was interacting with. Basically means the people I interact with on ARAMs on occasion. That's about it. Thankfully, I do interact with like I have a few other things. So I have my martial arts group, but not a whole lot of the social side outside of it. So I'm very happy to be able to touch base. All right, but with that, thank you. No, hopefully I've been all the vitamin C stuff like that. Oh, I did want to do a shout out, even though it's like to the end, to knowing who some of my real friends are in the sense that and family, people who actually reached out and came and brought me like care supplies. My mom's and my dad's, they brought me some food, and my dad made some runzas and brought me some. And then my girl Fork made some hot Italian sausage soup thing, potato soup thing. Brought me some that keeping me alive since I can't go to the store or anything. And yeah, I came out of con not having anything but some like expired eggs in my fridge. So good for friends keeping me alive. Much appreciated. All right, I'm out. I am going to stream some gaming after this, and we'll set this up. So yeah, check out the Doc Dead channel after this. I will play some Hunt. That'll be fun. Thank you guys, and we'll see. I'll be around some more. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Um, cool. It's really cool to see the numbers grow as a. We'll raid my channel over on Doc Dead after this for this. All right, guys. Talk to you later.